I did not see this fight announcement coming, but here it is. It's a main event. Arman Tsarukyan will take on Renato Moicano, April 29th, 5 rounds, main event. Tsarukyan told this to Meta MMA, and then Renato Moicano pretty much confirmed it half an hour later when he said, "Let's go," with a couple of fire emojis. This fight's happening, and it's going to be the main event. And listen. This is a good main event. I know a lot of people are going to underestimate it because, look, Tsarukyan's number 8, Renato Moicano's number 13. They're kind of low in the rankings, right? But it's kind of like when Gamrot and Tsarukyan first fought for their fight night main event. They were even lower in the rankings. They were like 12th and 13th or 12th and 11th or something like that. They were not even in the top 10. They still put on a good fight there. And with this one, it's going to be no different because Tsarukyan is better than he was in the Gamrot fight. We saw this in his most recent fight. And also, Renato Moicano now being in the lightweight rankings, we're going to see something out of him in lightweight. I think that's going to be fun. When it comes to the fight itself, a lot of people say it's a mismatch because they think Tsarukyan is just going to win too easily. I don't think so. Now, of course, when I saw this fight, I was like, okay, I don't know why Renato would take such a step up in competition. His last fight was Brad Riddell, but he did submit Brad Riddell in the first round. So I guess I get the step up, but there's also a lot of guys below you that you could fight. You could fight Grant Dawson. There's a fight with Damir Ismagulov that you could have. Maybe even a lot of people were talking about Dan Hooker versus Renato Moicano. That was the fight that I wanted to see. But Dan Hooker's injured now. Ismagulov, he seems to be coming out of retirement. We don't know who he's fighting. Drew Dober's got a fight scheduled already. It's Matt Frivola. I mean, look at this fight. This fight's happening. That's a pretty good fight. And Grant Dawson, I don't know what's happening with Grant Dawson, but I think Tsarukyan versus Moicano, that's still a fun fight to make. It's a fight that I'll definitely tune in for. I think a lot of people should tune in for this fight. It's going to be a fun one. I think it might even be a fight of the night, possibly. Who knows? I think it'll be more competitive than people are saying. A lot of people are saying just Moicano is not good enough. It's a mismatch. Tsarukyan's going to win too easily. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think. Listen, on the feet, I think Tsarukyan's much better. We've seen Tsarukyan do well on the feet against a lot of high-level guys. We've seen him knock out guys such as Yoel Alvarez, who is one of the top lightweights right now, in my opinion. We've seen him knock out Giagos. We've seen him go to a decision against Matt Frivola. He's beaten a lot of good guys. This guy's got wins against Matt Frivola, Yoel Alvarez, is Damir Ismagulov, and a lot of people think he should have beat Mateusz Gamrot as well, who also just came off a win against a very skilled striker like Jalen Turner. That kind of tells you where Arman Tsarukyan is in his striking. He's also very well-rounded. We've seen him get wins by knockout, wins by submission. Not in the UFC, but he's still got a couple of wins by submission. He's got decision wins as well. I mean, this guy could do it all, really. And the difference between Tsarukyan and Moicano is Moicano, all of his wins, all of his finishes, came by submission. This guy has 0 knockout wins. If he's going to finish a fight, it'll be by submission. And god damn does he excel in the submission game. He's got almost 60% of his wins by submission. He's got 7 wins by decision as well. No knockouts. I think that's pretty wild. He's landed a couple of significant strikes as well. But he just doesn't knock these guys out. He goes to a lot of decisions as well. So that may be it. But, I think the main difference here is the striking, is the knockouts. That's where a lot of people say that this is a mismatch. And also the fact that Moicano's been knocked out. We haven't seen Tsarukyan get knocked out in his career. The thing with this fight is, though, that the guys that Moicano's been knocked out by, these are guys like Jose Aldo, like the Korean Zombie, like Rafael Fiziev, These are the only guys that have ever knocked him out in his career. Everybody else, he's fought some top level guys. Not necessarily knockout artists, but he still fought a lot of top level guys. Even at featherweight, a lot of these guys couldn't knock him out. Only these top 3 guys who in their time were some of the best. And even Fiziev now, who's only getting better, is now fighting Gaethje for, the number 3 spot, co-main event of a pay-per-view and everything. Moicano, he's only been knocked out by these guys. Everybody else, he submitted guys like Alexander Hernandez, like Brad Riddell. He's went 5 rounds with Rafael Dos Anjos on 4 days' notice. You know, he's beating guys like Jai Herbert. He's beating this guy Hazovic. He's beating Cub Swanson. He's beating even got top guys at featherweight like Calvin Kattar and Zabira Tukugov. I'm pretty sure is a lightweight, and Jeremy Stevens. This guy, he's got a much longer run in the UFC. He debuted at the end of 2014. Tsarukyan is a bit of a newer guy compared to MOICANO. He's not that new though. He did debut in 2019 against the current champion Islam Makhachev. That's a pretty tough debut fight. Ever since then, it's just been incredible fun fights. A lot of people think he should have won this fight against Gamrot. And you know, when we talk about both guys, MOICANO has more experience in the UFC itself, but Tsarukyan, he's much more well-rounded just in his skill set. We've seen him get it done, knockout, submission, decision, whatever it may be. I already said this, but a lot of people are underestimating MOICANO's ground game. I said this. He's got so many submission wins. He's got so many submission wins against top level lightweights, against guys, you know, that are at the top. I already said this, and big names that he submitted with ease as well. He submitted Brad Riddell with ease. That was a very easy win for him. He was just in complete control in that fight. And Tsarukyan, we haven't seen him get any submission wins in the UFC so far. We've seen him do good on the ground against guys like Ismagulov and like Mateusz Gamrot. So I think he's gonna have a good defense on the ground. I think he's gonna avoid some of the submissions. I don't think Renato MOICANO will finish him on the ground. But the thing is, I don't think Tsarukyan's gonna knock him out either. Early prediction, I think it's going to go to a decision. Who do I think is going to take it? I think Arman will win by unanimous decision. I think he'll maybe lose a round or two. I think a 2 is maybe even a stretch. But I think he'll defend a lot of the positions on the ground. I think the ground is where we're going to see a lot of questions get answered. I think this is where a lot of people should look at this fight going, is to the ground. A lot of it's going to be spent on the ground. Less of it's going to be on the feet. And I think on the feet, Arman's better. But I think on the ground, they're both going to have their moments. I don't know who's really going to take over. I'll have to look into this fight a bit more. But early prediction, I say Arman takes it by unanimous decision. And this fight is taking place on a card where, you know, we've got guys like Kyle Borralho, Michael Alexejczyk, Nathan Levy, P. Rodriguez, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Marcos Rogério de Lima, Jay Collier, Cody Brundage. You know, we got a Charles Johnson fight on here too. Julian Erosa, ranked Emily Ducote versus Poliana Viana at strawweight. There's a lot of good fights on this card, and I think a lot of people should be looking at this card a bit more. It's very stacked, and I think it's just going to get better. You know, there's only been 11 fights, and it says 10, but including this one, it's only been 11. It's going to be like 2 or 3 more fights being put on this card, and it's going to be a fun one. I don't think anybody should miss this card or this fight. At least don't miss this fight, man. This is a really good fight. I don't think anybody should miss this fight. It's going to be a fun one. Might even be fight of the night. And yeah, super excited for this one. Early prediction, I say Arman takes it by UD.